Apollo Company manufactures a single product that sells for $169 per unit, whose variable costs are $126 per unit. The company's annual fixed costs are $620,000. Prepare a contribution format income statement at break-even point. Round the units and the dollars to the nearest whole number. Okay, that's part one. So the break-even point is when net income is equal to 0. So we'll start with net income equal to 0. And next, they told us that fixed costs were $620,000, so we'll plug that in there. And we're kind of working backwards here. The contribution margin, if fixed costs are $620,000 and net income is 0, then contribution margin has to be the same as fixed costs whenever we're at the break-even point. So at the break-even point, contribution margin equals fixed cost, or in this case, contribution margin will be $620,000. Very important point to understand. At the break-even point, net income is 0, and also at the break-even point, the contribution margin equals fixed cost. Don't forget that. So now, if we're looking for variable costs, that's the next line up we've got. If we knew that we had, let's see here, contribution margin was $620,000, and we know that selling price minus variable cost equals contribution margin, which in this case would be $169 selling price minus variable cost of $126 equals a contribution margin of $43 per unit. Then we can very easily find out how many units we sold by taking the $620,000 worth of total contribution margin, dividing that by $43 per unit, and this will tell us how many units we sold. Now that's a fraction there, and we probably didn't sell that fraction, so to make this problem work properly, don't round this number yet. Don't round it. So if we want to find out what our variable costs are, if that's how many units we sold, and we know that our variable cost per unit is 126, then our total variable cost in this income statement will be $126 per unit times the number of units that we sold, 14,418.604. Again, don't round. Don't round until we get to the whole dollar unit right here. So we're going to round this 1,816,744.1 whatever it is to a rounded number of 1,816,744 even dollars. And we'll do the same thing for sales, because we know how many units we sold, which were the 14,418, and we know the selling price. So let's multiply these two together. And I don't know if you had to round on this one or not, but the answer rounded is 2,436,744. So we're finished with now with part one, keeping in mind that this down here is the most important part of the whole problem, that at break-even point, net income is 0, and fixed costs are going to equal contribution margin at break-even point. Now let's go on to part two. So what happens if we increased our fixed costs by an additional $132,000? How many sales dollars do we have to have now to break even? Well, we're going to take this formula. Well, first of all, we're going to take the figure out the contribution margin ratio, which was the $43 contribution margin that we had up here, divided by the selling price, and this is our contribution margin ratio. And we're not going to round this yet because it'll make a difference in what your answer is going to be. So just leave that in your calculator. 43 divided by 169, leave it in your calculator, and let's go on down to this idea, which is the break-even point in dollars, which is what we're looking for here. How many dollars we have to break even if we had that many additional fixed costs? The break-even point in dollars is equal to fixed costs divided by the contribution margin percentage, or the contribution margin ratio. So our fixed cost increased. They went up from $620,000 to an additional 132,000. So you add these two together and you divide by that unrounded number right there, and you should get what it's going to take for this company's sales to be in order to break even if they have these additional fixed costs, which would be $2,955,535. And you can see it's higher. Break even gets higher as you add more fixed cost. This was at $0. This was when we had these fixed costs, $2,436,744, and now, as you can see, if we add more fixed costs, the break-even point in sales dollars becomes higher.